Danny Fleming here of the MA Properties Online team. We're here for another episode of Coffee with MA Properties Online. And our guest today is Noel DiCarlo of Warshaw DiCarlo. She's a real estate attorney that we work a lot with. And we're here going to ask her a few questions. So thank you for being here, Noel.
Thank you for having me here, Danny. I'm excited.
So one of the questions that we get asked a lot when we're talking to buyers and sellers, they say, can I use just any attorney to help me buy or sell a home?
That's a good question, and I hear it more often than not. I always say to someone, if you need a prescription for your eyes, would you go to your foot doctor? And it's a similar thing with law. I wouldn't pretend to know about intellectual property, but I do know about real estate law. So you may have an uncle or a friend who practices law, but what you really want to do is go to someone who practices every day in real estate law, who represents buyers and sellers and developers and estates and trusts. And they're going to know the nuances of the law. They're going to know how best to protect your interests. They're going to understand when the law changes, what the requirements are. So don't go to a foot doctor for your eyes. Don't go to a divorce attorney to sell your house.
That makes a huge amount of sense, because I know, working with you occasionally, you know, if there's an attorney on the other side who's not a real estate attorney, you manage to get things through on the purchase and sales that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get through because the other attorney doesn't know the law.
Absolutely. And it actually can go either way, surprisingly. On the one hand, I'm able to put a provision in that really protects my clients that a real estate attorney who practices in the industry might say, Noel, you know, it's going a little overboard. On the other hand, sometimes it can go against the client, in which case I'm having to spend my time educating or negotiating a term, which I wouldn't have to with another attorney, spending my client's money. So I don't want to be in a position where I have to educate another attorney or argue over a provision that any other real estate attorney would be comfortable with.
Right.
So you really want to select your attorneys well to protect your interests as best as possible, but also to protect your interest in the event the other side chose the foot doctor.
Right. Yeah, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Noel. That was great to hear from you. And our guest today was Noel DiCarlo of Warshaw DiCarlo. You're going to find her details following. And thank you for being with us for another episode of Coffee with MA Properties Online.
Hi there, it's Marcus Collins here. Thanks for watching this episode of Coffee with MA Properties Online on YouTube. If you want to stay up to date with future episodes, click subscribe just below me or click on this list to see lots of other great videos. Thanks for watching.